Good morning. I'm Louise Michelle Bomber and I'm a specialist therapist, teacher and a published author in the area of trauma recovery. And I'm here every Wednesday at 10:30 to try and support adopted parents, foster carers and kinship carers through this extraordinary season right now. And what we do is we look at what we can do to strengthen regulation and what we can do to strengthen relationship. You must know, like I do, from living day in, day out with our children who've experienced trauma, that they have faulty alarm systems. They can get activated really quickly and really easily. They can go from a 1 to a 10 just like that before you know it. Their window of stress tolerance is quite often limited. And so to help them to stay within their window of stress tolerance and also to help to extend it, we need to be thinking about trying to get alongside it on a more preventative way. So rather than waiting until it kind of all blows up and we have a pressure cooker effect, to really try and think about bringing in pauses throughout the day that are like sensory breaks, pauses where we can actually attend to regulation. Now this week I'd like to really encourage you, if you haven't already, to create a calm box. Everybody needs a calm box, including adults, I believe, especially right now in this season. Now you can either just get an old shoebox and decorate it up, or you could go like I did to the Works, which is quite a cheap shop where you can get all different kinds of bits and pieces that you can paint up and make your own or decorate up with whatever you want to. I've just used some glitter paint and I've just got a box from there, and this is a calm box, and it's the beginning of a calm box. It's not completed yet, but I just want to encourage you to start creating something for your family, a family calm box, and then think about creating individual ones as well, because we've all got different things that will help us to upregulate or to downregulate, to energise and to activate, or to calm and to soothe and to quieten. And what might work for me is not necessarily going to work for you. And we have to be really careful as well that we don't bring our own biases and expect that everybody else is going to find something that we find calming as well, because we're all so different. We are all unique. So this is going to involve a lot of experimentation, but basically just try things out, put things in the box, see if they work, see how you feel when you use them, and then throw them out if you think, no, that doesn't really work for me or it doesn't work for our family. But together, try and work out what might be helpful during this season. Now, the reason that I'm encouraging you to do this week is that there's a lot of talk, like you know, at the moment about re-entry to school. And I'm really encouraging schools through my webinars to be thinking about creating calm boxes at school if they haven't already. Calm purses, calm bags, calm boxes, it doesn't really matter what we use, but whatever is suitable for the age range that we are working with. And so to prepare for that, we could really do with our parents and carers experimenting at home with bits and pieces, so that you can inform the school what kinds of things calm your children. Now, I know you might not get them calm for maybe very, very long. Some of you, it might just be a moment here, it might just be a few moments there. But whatever it is, our schools need to know. We need to work so closely together with our schools at this time. We really need to build homeschool partnership so that when our children go back, that they can carry on using some of the bits and pieces and some of the ways that you have discovered as a family work for you. So I just want to really encourage you with that, and I would encourage you to pass this information on to teachers as well, so that we can all be in this together, because we are going to, for quite a period of time, need to really prioritise regulation and relationship more than the academic, the cognitive part. So just remember the order of things. We always need to go for a bottom-up approach. We need to soothe and quieten the lower part, then bring ourselves up to the emotional limbic brain, the part that's to do with relationship, and then only then into the reason stage, the cognitive piece, where we'll do all our thinking, our cognition, our lessons, our curriculum, and the discipline that we might need to bring in, the reflection piece, the repair, all of that. So it needs to be that way round, and we really need to be trauma responsive now if we haven't been before. This is a time where everyone is going to have to step up to start thinking differently about how to intervene with children and young people in our care. so at home and in our schools and out in the wider community. So this is a real opportunity for us to practice, to experiment. So I just really want to encourage you to do that right now so that we can all be prepared for these next transitions that will be coming up in due course. Right, so inside my card box, now some of these bits and pieces you will have already seen if you've been watching my sofa times, but there'll be some extra bits as well. So in mine, I've got like a little picture of Maisie and her furry friends. This was given to me as a Christmas present, so it was really lovely, from the Dogs Club, which she goes out with a little pack from time to time. You might notice that she's different, by the way, this week. She's had some grooming. Yeah, she was getting a little bit hairy. You probably noticed that in the other sofa times. Well, now she looks like a completely different dog. In fact, I look at her and I just think, you know, is this Maisie when I come in? But yes, it is Maisie. She's just had a lot of hair trimmed off. You can now see her more clearly. So anyway, that's a little picture. So that always makes me feel calm, just looking at her and just putting my mug of coffee on that, you know. I've got my candle. You knew that I'd have one of those because I love candles and I love the smell of them. I've got a picture of one of my favourite places, Ashburnham Place. There's a lake there, which I really love to go to and just sit and think and read and write. I've got some seeds in here because planting is really good for regulating me. I love just planting out, and yeah, you like the sound of that, don't you? And then I've got my yogi tea, classic, which is so lovely. Do you remember? I really love cinnamon, so that's definitely going to be in there. I've got some cinnamon oil as well, which I can smell. Really, really nice. And I have some special tea as well as my classic yogi tea, which is called Cherry Baby. And what's nice about this is that I can smell inside the tea leaves, but I can also go and make a special tea when I want to. I've also got some card in here, some of a couple of my favourite colours, so that I can just doodle or draw. And I've also got some buttons because they're really nice just to feel. And in fact, buttons, it's really good to have a button box for children particularly, because they can sort and classify them into colours or shapes, and you can play and find the special button as well, where you have to try and decide which button it is that somebody has decided is their favourite button, and then just, you know, it's a bit like Guess Who. I don't know if you've ever played that, where you just try and work out by asking just questions that are yes/no answers, which is the special button. So that's a nice game. You might have seen that written about in Inside I'm Hurting. Anyway, I'm just starting to like create my own. I've got a long way to go. I've got quite a big box to fill, but you get the idea. I think every family needs a calm box. We need to have it somewhere, but please don't use it as a punishment. Don't say, right, go and get your calm box. You need your calm box right now. Try not to use it in that kind of way. It's more a preventative measure. It's more something that you would just get it out from time to time, not necessarily in the heat of something. And in fact, in the middle of something that was really kicking off, if you gave somebody a calm box, they would probably just throw it at you, you know, because like it's gone past that point. So this is more about dampening down, soothing, quietening as we go. That's what this is all about. You know, it's not meant to be used in the middle of some really big conflict. That's not the time to use a calm box. So just to kind of encourage you to have a go at using something like that and experimenting. Like I say, right now is a time for experimenting. We've got to really get on top of our nervous systems at this time. We've got to learn what helps us to stay in our own skin, to stay present, alert, attentive. Because yeah, there's so much going on at the moment that could really mean that our heart rate increases, that we breathe differently, that we're just agitated. Yeah, so I think adults and children alike, we really do need to be thinking about all of this. You know, what works for us? Just try bits and pieces out. Now, if you've got some money, obviously there's all kinds of things you can buy in the works as well, you know, like stress balls and stretchy bands and all that kind of thing. So, you know, you can mix and match. There's things you'll just find around your house, like some of those things that I've just shown you, but there are also bits and pieces you can buy, obviously. So, yeah, just think what might work for you. Sometimes in some of the children's calm boxes I put bubbles, for example. That's quite nice, but only for some, because some of them it might hype them up more if they were like using bubbles, but for some it's really calming. So, you know, we're all so different, aren't we? Anyway, thinking again about re-entry to school, I want to just help us just to think about relating to one another. Now, obviously a lot of us have spent a lot of time with our children at home, and we're going to have a lot more children going back with separation anxiety when they do go back eventually. So it would be really important, I think, right now to start preparing for that in terms of what kinds of things could we do, like rituals or creating of objects or swapping of objects that we could do to help our children and young people with separation. So, for example, I would encourage you to, even if you don't at the moment, go out for some exercise on your own if you can, just to kind of give yourself a little bit of separation, to practice some separation, so to speak, and to engage in some of these ideas that I'm going to share with you now. So for example, every time you go out, is there something that you could do? Particularly with the younger ones, you could maybe do something like, we've got invisible string, I've got some on my finger, let's put some on yours, and you could get all imaginary, and you could talk about the fact that when I come back, our imaginary string will still be there, our invisible string will still be there, that kind of thing. It could be like a little ritual. It could be that you go, I've got you in my heart, I've got you in my mind, I've got you on my photo, so you might have like a little photo on a photo ring, a key ring, that kind of thing. You might want to create a friendship bracelet that you both have. In fact, it's better when you both have whatever it is, because then you can say, you'll be wearing yours and I'll be wearing mine, and that will remind us that we are connected. So most of the time, most adults can internalise. We've got a sense of permanency. We're able to have in our minds people that are special to us. We can kind of carry them around with us day in, day out. But for children who are traumatised, who may have got stuck in their development and maybe have not negotiated that developmental stage of permanency and constancy, they're going to need something tangible to represent you and to represent their family and to represent safety, their home. So whatever you can do to help them with that. So it could be you writing a little note that goes into their lunchbox. It could be you spraying a little bit of your perfume or your aftershave on their collar, on their sleeve, on their wrist, so that every time they smell it, every time they smell whatever it is, they can feel connected to you. It could be you setting up like a timetable, so that when they're at school, what will you be doing? So it's kind of like a split timetable. So when they're doing this, you're going to be doing this, that kind of thing. So rituals, swapping objects, using smell. Traumatised children particularly are very sensitive to smell, so if you find the right smell, that helps to kind of conjure up this idea of family, of safety, of home, that will be particularly helpful. Now obviously there is talk about certain objects not being able to be taken into school, so we need to think very creatively here about what we can do where they have just got it on them, so to speak. That's why I'm thinking about friendship bracelets, necklaces, thinking about key rings that they can have on their belts, on their pencil case, on their bag, just little bits and pieces that we can actually just get into their bags, sew into their bags, for example, sew into their pencil cases, just so that they have something. Or even you can think about sending in photographs to school, asking the key adult, asking the small team to create like a little photo book maybe of their family, so that, again, that they can carry that around once they're there, if you're not allowed to actually send in the photographs. So we just need to be really creative, because we know what our children need. They need this sense of being connected. Now once they are back in school, there will be some children that would really benefit from checking in with you. So maybe just start thinking about that as well. Like, maybe is there going to be a possibility of a particular point in the day where you can just say hello to each other, whether it's online or whether it's through a phone call. Maybe you could just start having those conversations now with school staff about what that is going to look like in terms of being able to connect back in. And I would also just throw in the mix here about staggering going back in. And those of you who've been to any of my webinars will know that we are talking a lot about that, staggering it. You don't have to kind of go in for a whole day immediately, maybe just building up. Some of our children will need that kind of approach, a more staggered approach. And I think I just want to say loud and clear, the slower the better. There's a lot of anxiety around right now, and I can even feel it in my voice. I think I'm picking up on everybody else's anxiety out there right now. In this week, particularly the week before a half term, everything is really building up, and Our school leaders are having to read and try and digest so much information right now, and trying to make sense of it, and trying to work out how this is practically all going to work. So the message I'm giving to school leaders, and I want to give to you as well, is let's just slow things down. And the message to myself as well, let's just slow things down. We need to slow things down, don't we, Maisie? Because that is the way we're going to get through all of this, is just taking things slowly and remembering to breathe, which I didn't do just then, did I? Yeah, so we need to remember to breathe, and just press the pause button on a regular basis, because we cannot afford to be in a constant state of alarm. We've got to allow ourselves to get back into our social engagement system, to be present, to be here, to be able to think clearly. So I just want to just leave you with that today. Some wise words from Louise. I haven't got it all sorted, but I'm learning all the time, like all of us are. But I just feel at this time particularly, we need to slow things down, and we really do need to honour the way that we are created, the way we're designed, the way we function best as human beings, which is regulation first and relationship being prioritised, because this is what's going to help us through this season and out the other end in terms of collective trauma recovery. So stay strong, stay safe, and I will see you again next week in half term. Bye for now.